Okay, so there's a trailer for the next thing that Glitch is like trying to break the internet with, which is a show called Knights of Guinevere. Something they've teased already. Like it's been in the works for a while. They're working with the creator of Amphibia. That's a little joke for the people on the Discord. No, the creator of the Owl House, Dana Terrace, on a 2D animated show, which should be interesting because like the Owl House much in the way of like Gravity Falls, right? Like it is one of those shows where like the creators were constantly stymied and stifled by Disney, right? Insofar as like there were places that they just were not allowed to go that much because it was on Disney, right? And there was constantly a price to pay. So the vibe around Knights of Guinevere that I've seen is very much this thing of like, what is Dana Terra's gonna do? Like now that we are unshackled from like the leash of the mouse and we can do whatever the hell we want in internet web animation, like what's gonna happen? And who knows? I never watched much of Owl House, unfortunately. It's one of the ones on the list. But I am curious because like the tiny teaser that they showed ages ago was playing with some like false reality thing where someone's like horrendously tortured in one reality, but they imagine a much nicer reality in some other realm. It was sort of poking at some psychological horror nonsense, which like should be interesting. So I guess let's have a look. Right, so we're definitely doing a retro thing, right? That we're presenting this sort of in the style of a 1940s, 50s movie or animated short kind of situation. Okay.
Once upon a time.
Yo, the fucking production design here. Like, this is a small thing, but like, look, hey, look at the underside of this attraction, right? As the light comes in, you see that gradient glowing up under. Oh, that's really pretty. I could not get subtitles for this one, unfortunately, but whoever's doing compositing and lighting for this, ooh, that's good. That's deceptively difficult to do, a good, like, sort of lighting something up with artificial light like that. Just the color fringing around. Look at that, like the dip into like the purple. And ooh, that's really pretty.
On a time. And this was a very long time ago indeed.
Here's an odd comparison. That specific approach to light streaking across the sky definitely has streaks of Howl's Moving Castle. Like, the way, like, when Ghibli animates starlight and, like, streaks of light, like, they often take a very liquid approach to it. This feels a little bit of that vein. Like, this very much approach to streaks of light as, like, droplets of liquid. That's very pretty. Anyway, sorry.
There was a princess, trapped in a tall tower, and locked away by complicated machines that ran on blood and fear. Will she ever escape?
Oh, okay. We have the doll, and then the girl, for whom the doll, I suppose, is a plaything.
Will she ever find her knights?
So this shot is interesting when you're dealing with like anime characters, right? Like specifically in the stylistic sort of affectation of anime, there's this thing about highlights in eyes and the things that they're used to communicate. So when you see in anime a character and their eyes are completely blank, like there's no highlighting, there's no nothing, usually that's a signifier of like they're dead inside, right? Like they're dead inside, they have lost the spark of life, or they are like dead-eyed, or in some way like mentally altered or dissociated, something along those lines. So this little sequence of shots, right, like where it seems like the doll is glowing, and that's like lighting up the girl from below, and each bit of glow, oh shit, fuck, like creates sparkles in her eyes, quite literally, like a starry night sky, right? Like these are not normal highlights, right? Like this is not the normal way that light reflects off an eyeball. It's heightened. And it changes, right? Like from the green to the purple pink, the location and size of the highlights change. So there's something there feels like it's meant to be communicative. That whatever she's doing with this doll is sort of a source of life for her, or a source of, I don't know. The fucking production design is really, like, look at the just the background illustrations here are like, God, I've complained about this before, but one of the things I really hate in a lot of seasonal anime is that the background design is just, and it's completely understandable, background design takes a fucking long time, and it's one of the things that in seasonal anime especially gets deprioritized, right? Like, environments, backgrounds, they're sort of like, here's a box, we drew the box, it's like stock locations, here's a box that we drew with straight lines everywhere. These backgrounds look really, really hand designed and look really lived in. Fuck me, that's pretty. Like, look at this fucking, just these fucking pipes and shit. The way that they're sort of like curling around the building and like the roughness of it all. Ooh, are we doing like a differential? Okay, interesting approach to the character animation. Because it's essentially, that's full animation, basically. Yeah. And then as she pulls on the robot intestines here, a similar figure seems to be pulling. Yeah. In silhouette. Also, just, that's the other thing, right? Like, Dana Terrace was working for Disney. A lot of this feels very like, hey, here's a theme park, and here's a bunch of oppression and a bunch of slavery. Huh. I wonder if we're saying anything about I wonder if this relates to anything in the real world, or maybe some experiences that the showrunner had. The other thing about this is that looks for all the world like an umbilical cord, doesn't it? You know I'm a sucker for a slow rotation shot. Oh, that's pretty. I mean, horrifying, but pretty. Profile picture alert. Again, like look this eye design, that mouth design on that thing, that's fully fucking Bambi. That is very Disney. Which I guess with the mustache and all means we might have found our Walt over here.
Oh, why hello. Didn't notice you there.
Yep, that's Walt. It's a Walt. It's Walt. Oh my god, it's literally Walt. Okay.
Come closer. Meet some very good friends of mine.
Part of your world. Oh my god. Yeah, it's princess marketing. It's oh, we're really shooting Disney. Okay, we're really taking we're fully just like loading a 50 cal and just pointing it directly at the Magic Kingdom, aren't we? Wish I could be part of your world. Live action remake greenlit. No one asked for it, so we're making it. The princess can save herself. So it looks like we're definitely taking aim at Disney princesses and princess franchises, the marketing behind it, and even recapitulation. This princess can save her, like the sort of girl boss recapitulation of like princess aesthetics where it's like, no, actually Disney princess is feminist because of she's a cool princess who saves herself. Please keep buying the merchandise forever. Princesses, girls, oh, definitely. That sort of feels like what we're gesturing at here. Like it's that era of Disney live action remakes, right? Like they did it with Jasmine in Aladdin, they did it with Belle in Beauty and the Beast. They fucking, yeah, I think they did it with Cinderella too, but it didn't really work. Like the girl boss shit that Disney uses very actively as marketing to sort of, but they're using it as a coat of paint over a fundamental product, which is kind of regressive. And that would tie back into the, like, given that our main character Guinevere presumably is the robot doll here. It's like it's a very, that would cast the body horror here, right? That would cast that as a very explicit commentary on objectification, on abjectification of commercial exploitation of like specifically female bodies, right? Like in the context of the Disney Renaissance or the new Disney Renaissance. So who then are the Knights of Guinevere? I guess they're one of them. Kind of seems like. Maybe they are too. Wake me up inside, save me. Yeah. Yep. I'm on board. I am 100 million. I was on board the moment I saw the fucking backgrounds. It's like, oh yeah, the rest of the show, fucking whatever, I don't care. But the fucking backgrounds, man, the lighting that they're using, just these are just fucking gorgeous backgrounds. Like, they're really good. I don't know how to express it enough to you. So, Walt Disney, or Walt Disney, or whatever, and his little princess, for whom he's doing everything and building everything in the world. And then here is someone who doesn't necessarily... Is she wearing a dress, or is she a doll? I guess that's one question I have. Like, oh no, she's still a doll. She's still a puppet there. But it wouldn't be interesting if she was a real person once upon a time. My. Like, the fucking backgrounds, man. Like, this fucking thing, this air hose or whatever it is, right? Look at the crumpled way, like, the way it's like hand fucking-straighted. With, like, the line weight and the consideration of, like, for example, like, you see fucking these pillars here, right? On the right side, you see this very dark line art. On the left side, you see this very light line art, where you can see the artist is, like, carefully thinking about, okay, here I'm darkening and using the line art as part of, like, the outlining and the shadowing on the, like, someone spent hours and hours and hours on this background. And presumably, this background is only going to be used for, like, 1 or 2 shots, right? But someone spent a fuck of a long time just making this background look good. And building, like, this is a thing of, if you want a space to look like it's real, like people live in it, like it's a place that human beings or characters occupy, make it messy in some way, shape, or form. That's another thing. When you're watching seasonal anime, I'm going to inflict you with this curse and you'll never be able to get away from it. When you're watching seasonal anime, pay attention to the backgrounds when it's a character's room or their office or some place where someone is supposed to spend a lot of time. And if you want to know a good anime from a bad one, which ones have mess? Like, not objects, not just stuff in them. They all have stuff in them. Which ones have mess? Which ones have, oh, this is like the detritus and like the messiness of there's a person who's been living here and who's been using this space, right? Which ones have mess and which ones don't? Because most seasonal anime, none of them are messy. Unless it's like a very specific of like, this is the shot of the room which is messy. Casually, just as a background detail, or like a constant presence in the world, mess doesn't exist because mess takes time. Mess takes so much longer to draw than tidiness. Mess is time-consuming. Building mess, constructing mess in a way that feels real to the space takes time, right? And so, again, a lot of seasonal anime, just as a necessity for production, they don't really engage with it because it would take way too the fucking long to create realistic feeling mess in a background space for not a lot of like reward, like when you're working on seasonal anime budgets, right? Like, so this is not me condemning seasonal anime as bad because no mess. It's like, no, it's an inevitable sort of result of their production conditions and stuff, but there's so much good mess in all the shots here. Right, even this, like this street situation here, just mess. Little bits of mess, like placed in ways that make sense, right? The mess feels like it all collects in corners and crevices and nooks and crannies, right? Much more than it does out on the open street, but the mess, like it... And so the space feels organic. It feels occupied. It feels like someone lives here and makes mess, and that mess accumulates in the spaces that mess tends to accumulate. And they're doing the fucking VHS thing here, right? With... You can see it in the on the line work, right? Like the little aberration, like the specific kinds of blurring that we sort of associate with VHS anime, specifically VHS anime from the era of, like, before the era of digital animation. This is digital animation, make no mistake, but it's emulating some of the aesthetic hallmarks, like the glow and like the blurriness and the softness of like pre-digital animation. One thing it's not emulating is the stiffness of some kinds of anime, though.
Oh, why hello. Didn't notice you there. Come closer.
That fucking gesture there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. That's a lot of frames, man. That feel.
Oh, why hello. Didn't notice you there. Come closer.
That's really nice animation.
Come closer.
Like, because it's full animation, too. Like, this is not... Like, we're doing limited animation in some bits, right? Like, as he turns around here... Right? He stops in this position, and then we're doing limited animation, right? Like, nothing else is animated. Just his mouth is moving for a sec. But even within the scope of limited animation, you see how it's not just, like... It's not just anime lip flaps. Like, anime... limited animation lip flaps is the character's face is completely static, but then their mouth goes ah ba 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 ba, open close open close open close. Right? That's static sort of lip flap anime animation. Here, the jowls, the chin, you can see the like it is limited animation, but they're putting in the extra effort of like really making it feel like he is articulating.
Oh, why hello.
Hello. And then when he does move, then we're doing full animation. Like all of his major body motions, all of his major body movements. It's not just that he's doing a gesture with his arm. He's doing that gesture with his whole body when he beckons, right? You can see him leaning into it. And then like the arm comes up and sort of like he sort of pushes back from that. And then that momentum also like twists his head up so that the head twists a little bit more to the right and the chin comes up. Like, as character animation, this is really high quality. Like, this is really high quality. It's one thing for Glitch. Like, we talked about this with Gaslight District, right? That Gaslight District is some of the most vibrant, expressive, interesting animation that I've seen, 3D animation, in a long time. And that it's coming from this small, independent, YouTube-driven, merchandise-driven studio is mind-blowing. If those motherfuckers are about to do something similar with a 2D traditionally animated show, like, there is budget on display here. Like, there is budget on display here. There is so much budget on display here. And I don't just mean in terms of money. I mean in terms of time. I mean in terms of polish. I mean in terms of, like, just whoever was working on this, the animators who were making this show, in order to make all these assets and backgrounds, in order to render them at such a high level of quality, in order for the character animation that we see, and we don't get to see that much, but, like, okay, fucking take a look at, yelling person over here. Right? You fucking see that? Like, that's not a low effort. Like, it's a comedy bit, right? Like, this person is yelling, the other character's picking them up and, like, pulling them away. This is a comedy bit, right? Like, it's not really, but you see, like, the fucking, like, the lift here, and then, like, the way that that leg sort of settles into a secondary, and as they're turning, like, the head stays, and, like, the raised chin to sort of pull around, and the foreshortening on the arm. Fucking animating an arm foreshortening this way is not trivial. Like, that's a hard thing to get right. This is really, really, really high fucking quality animation. And it's character acting animation. It's not just Sakuga, right? It's not just like, here's a fucking cool action shot. It's character animation. The character is doing an acting performance. And there's so many frames just spent on it. So much time spent making the character move, emote, express, and it's all full animation. And it's all fucking animated on 2s and 3s. I suspect it's animated on 2s in The Thing. Like, the animators who worked on this had time. They had time. They had time to sit and do it. I don't know that they haven't crunched. I don't know that. I don't know the production conditions. But it's the kind of animation that you just can't get. You cannot get 2D animation like this if the animators have to constantly rush and crunch and, like, cut corners. You don't get this kind of animation. Like, that just doesn't happen. Because when you have to rush and crunch and cut corners, shit like that is the stuff that gets cut. Like, by necessity. For the same reason that, like, backgrounds in seasonal anime tend to not be that great. Is because, like, it's one of those things that just has to get cut when you're working on such a constrained production timeline. If Glitch Studios are fucking about to put out what looks to me fully like movie quality 2D animation for an episodic show, right? And maybe not like highest, but like maybe not fucking Cinderella, not Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty. Like maybe not Sleeping Beauty level Disney cinematic like movie theater animation, but like movie quality. A lot of this is fully movie quality. If they're about to just do that, just fucking drop casually a pilot episode for a 2D animated show with that level of quality throughout. I don't know what the runtime is. Maybe the pilot is only going to be 10 minutes long. I mean, it seems like there's more stuff in the pilot than could fit in 10 minutes, but like, if they're just about to do that, fuck off. Where the fuck did you come from, Glitch? How did you do that? How did you make... Who's funding this? It can't just all be merchandise and YouTube ad revenue. Where are you getting your money, you motherfuckers? And can I have some? They must be selling a lot of fucking Jax plushies. This is expensive. Everything that's happening in this trailer is fucking expensive. None of it looks cheap at any point. This is YouTube animation. This is independent animation published. It's one thing when Hell of a Boss does it, because they had rough start, right? I saw that shit develop of like, oh, they had to build up the animation studio at Spindlehorse. They had to build out there were some rough edges here and there. It never looked this expensive from the first go. It's the benefit of having Dana Terrace on board, I guess. Like, Dana Terrace presumably having the experience of being a showrunner, right? Having the experience of being a showrunner, having connections, like knowing how to run and build a studio and production, that matters a fucking lot also. Because, like, Glitch wasn't a 2D animation house before this. They were a 3D animation house. And those, like, you can't just take a bunch of 3D animators and make them 2D animators. That's not how it works. And also, when you're building an animation studio, you can't just go out and say, oh, I'm just gonna put out a job ad, and then I'm gonna hire 30 animators, and then we're just gonna make a show that looks good. No, people need training. People need, like you need to build a studio culture. You need to build, a production pipeline. You need to establish, like, you have producers and lead producers and like coordinating lead animators and storyboarders and everything like that. Building a studio to make something like this is not trivial. Who did they work with? Like, it doesn't say anywhere anyone other than Glitch, right? Hang on, I'm sorry, I need to know, who the fuck are you working with? Like, because you can't just put together an animation studio to make something like this out of thin fucking air. IMDb, help me. Who the fuck? What's the studio? Like, it's Glitz Productions, I know, but they must be working. Like, Screen Australia's in there again. Okay, that makes a little more sense. I need production credits on this. I need to know. Animation Magazine, please help me. Like, let's see. Pioneering teen and young adult studio, blah, blah, blah. Press release, blah, blah, blah. Preview reveals, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Glitch Production is self-funded independent animation studio, blah, 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 blah. Oh, can I not find some fucking information about who the production house is? Like, what's the... Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up on my own, but I want to know who the production house is. I want to know, like, how did they put that I need to talk to someone at Glitch. I need to know. I fucking need to know. How did you spin this up? Where did you get the animators? Where did you get the producers? Where did you get the pipeline? Because it's not... Maybe the full... Like, they're probably picking all their best shots for the trailer, right? Like, they're picking all the prettiest bits, all the best bits. I just can't get over the polish here. Like, you don't just put 400, like, 50 people in the room and say, animate this. Like, it's not... I cannot express to you enough how much it's not a trivial thing to establish an animation studio that is even capable of putting together a trailer like this. Even if this wasn't a whole show, even if there isn't, like, a full episode, even if they just made a trailer from, like, parts and bits, even that, it's not... You can't just do that. It's not... You can't just snap your... It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You can't just make this happen out of nowhere. As the studios indulge in mass layoffs, Glitch snaps them up. Even that, like, Glitch is in Australia. Glitch is in Australia. And... So were they doing this with remote work? Because most of the animators, like so much of the animation industry is focused in Europe and the US, right? And that's where the big layoffs are hitting right now also. And so, like, they must have been doing this with remote work to some extent, right? Like, and a lot of studios have transitioned to remote work. But again, remote work is not easy. Like, when you're creating a production like this, when you have these production pipelines that have to work, remote work is not easy. That's why Hell of a Boss sometimes has these little bits of like shit where it's like, oh, that where some shit is rough around the edges or some stuff doesn't quite work and stuff like that. That's the artifacts of having a production pipeline that they're still working on optimizing, right? To make sure that all the bits and pieces and all the animators are working on shots that they're compositing them all from. Like, that's hard. That's not a... So if this is partly done, like, this is a remote work studio... I mean, yeah, like, their 3D shows are remote. Yeah, if they already have a remote animation production pipeline for their 3D shows, that definitely helps when they're trying to set up the new pipelines for, like, putting this together. But, again, I cannot stress to you enough the amount of discipline you have to have from your studio producers. Right, from your production coordinators, from your producers, from, like, the lead the lead production coordinators. There's a lot of discipline that has to happen between the leads on a show like this in order to get everything to fit together and look. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just sitting here. I'm getting irrationally angry at Glitch Productions for, first of all, producing some of the best 3D animation I've ever seen in my life with, like, the Gaslight District. And then now also this. They just had that in the tank somehow? Fuck you. Oh no. Oh no, man. Like, again, this is a trailer. Maybe they're only showing the good bits. Maybe a lot of the show is going to be like, oh shit, they ran out of time for this. Maybe there's going to be prop. Like, who knows? I'm not saying right now that this is going to be an unimpeachable masterpiece or fucking whatever. Who the fuck knows? But if this show is half as good as the trailer looks, God, kids these days, you motherfuckers don't know how good you have it. You motherfuckers don't know how good you have it. When I was a kid, we didn't get shit like this. We couldn't just go on YouTube and oh look, an Australian animation studio has just dropped the fucking sci-fi fantasy dystopian future masterpiece from the, you don't just go on. You don't get Digital Circus and Gaslight District on the internet when I was a kid. It's like, oh, maybe there's an anime OVA at Blockbuster that you could rent if you don't tell your parents. Like maybe you get to see a little animation like that. Fuck you. Here's another fucking videotape of Bambi. We are not in a golden age of animation, right? Like when you look at the animation industry, when you look at what's happening, the ways in which the animation industry is being gutted, the ways in which unionization efforts are being cratered, the ways that animators are getting chewed up and spat out and shit on by every stalwart of the industry, right? It's not a golden age of animation, and indie animation does not and cannot fully replace big budget studio production animation. Like it just can't. Necessarily, it simply cannot, right? So it's not a golden age of animation, but it's definitely an age of animation. Like it's definitely the shit that indie animation can do now. That is something special. That is something new. Even if Knights of Guinevere is not that good, like maybe the story is going to be kind of a mess. Maybe the characterization is going to be... Who the fuck knows? Even if it's not that good, I want it to succeed very badly because I don't need every independent animated show to be an unimpeachable masterpiece or whatever, but if the business model that Glitch has, it can't be replicated. Again, it's that thing of like, you cannot have an animation industry that's made up entirely of Glitch Studios clones. Right? You can't just make 10 or Spindlehorse, right? It can't all be Spindlehorse and Glitch animation because not everybody can have all of those big hits, right? The power of the old animation industry, back when TV animation was like an industry onto itself that could sort of self-sustain, was that you were able to have a bunch of studios making shows that weren't that good, right? You were able to have studios that were making shows that weren't necessarily that good, and that created a lot of work opportunities and like job positions for young animators to train and learn their craft, and like it built out talent. It created training grounds for like studio production leads and assistants and producers and like all of the logistics and all of the infrastructure that keeps an animation industry running. That was able to be fostered and sort of like nurtured in the animation industry, right? In the big animation industry, because the big animation industry has margins enough that, oh, you produced a season of TV animation that didn't work? Okay, cool. But the studio doesn't need to get shut down because of that. We have the margins to absorb those losses, and when we get something that hits, the merchandise sales make up for everything, and so we have stability, right? In the age of streaming, in the age of Disney Plus, in the age of like the sort of dark age of big budget studio animation, we get these indie gems, right? Like Glitch Studios, like Spindlehorse, like these little studios that somehow fucking manage to claw their way into a fandom that's big enough to support whatever output the studio wants to make, right? But they're still pretty precarious. Like, if Has-Been Hotel Season 2 fails, Spindlehorse will probably survive off of Hell of a Boss, but they can't take much more than one loss, right? Like, they can't take much more than one flop. One thing that doesn't sell, one thing that doesn't push merchandise, right? And the audience itself, like the available audience that's willing to pay for merchandise, that's willing to pay for memberships, that's willing to pay for subscriptions, that's willing to pay for whatever in order to fund all of this shit, like, they can't be subscribed to every single independent animation studio. Nobody has the money for that. Nobody has enough money to buy all of the plushes from all of the studios. There's only so much to go around when you're operating on an indie scale. Oh shit, they have a website. Hang on. There's only so much money to go around. There really is only so much money to go around. So we can't rely on Glitch to be the model. We can't rely on Spindlehorse to be the model for how animation is supposed to work in the future. But I do want I want this to be possible for at least a few more studios. I want a few more studios to be able to build up something like this. To be able to take one of Disney's own creators from them and say, hey, we'll give you just a budget to do whatever the fuck you want. I want one or two more studios in the world that can do that. That would be lovely. Let's see. Which Guinevere are you? Which environment feels most like home to you? A busy palace where everyone knows each other, a quiet beach with crashing waves, the strategy room covered in maps, a bright studio filled with art supplies. Art supplies, I guess. Pick a snack. Ugh. A woman laughing with salad. That's a hell of an expression. I guess strawberry macarons. Which outfit? A gown made perfectly just for you, a suit so sleek it leaves your rival in the dust, a dress in colors you've only seen once, soft silks that shimmer when you move. I guess silk? Seems comfy. Someone insults your best friend, what do you do? Well, nothing I'm willing to admit on camera. You laugh, they laugh, then you stare into their soul. You react in an instant, overtaking with worst insults. You pull your friend into a side room to get away from everyone. You graciously correct them in front of the entire court with a smile. Where's the violence? I'm sorry, these options are not sufficient. You are ballerina, Gwen. To some, you're the master artist. To some, the beguiling muse. Your life is creativity manifest, and every choice is a considered one. For you, emotions are meant to be felt. You're no stranger to summiting the highest peaks and plumbing the lowest lows. You learned long ago that an air of mystery is an elegant mask to wear. Let them try to decipher you, but never let them in. They'll never know whether you're hard at work on your next grand piece or scratching at the walls of your ivory tower trying to find out if they are real. That last sentence seems a little darker than... Huh. Yeah, we're definitely doing Disney Princess. Don't hug me too long. I damage genomes. Oh no. In case of emergency, Gwen is to be obeyed. That thing looks real enough that I am willing to bet that they're gonna sell that as real merchandise. I'm willing to. Got the other two look like illustrations. That one looks like it's gonna be real. Staff use only. Enter password. Huh, we're doing ARG, huh? The password was hidden on the quiz results, I guess. Okay, I can't zoom in on it. Andy Frankie, 1909-25. Oh, hey! I guess they're called Frankie. She's called Frankie. There we go. Pronouns. Hello. Hello. Open body language, chest up, looks people in the eye, welcoming yet confrontational. Lifting heavy shit is nothing to her. She'll throw ultra heavy boxes, bags, and bodies over her shoulders if they were nothing. Oh, some lesbians are going to be acting on Wise About Frankie. Oh, boy. That's cool. Like, a fairly, like, I don't know, 100% butch, but a fairly butch character is a rare thing in animation. Andy. Andy is constantly on edge, often disappointed with the people around her and forced to clean up her coworkers' messes. She just expects life to throw shit her way at this point. Even when she's feeling good about something, she has very... See, these notes about, like, the characters expressing their interiority through body language, that is... She only really acts out with her full body when she's got something to say. That's the thing we saw in the carrying scene, right? Oh, that excites me. Like, just the implication of the level of thought that's put into the animation of these things. Okay, hang on. Let's try and see if there's different passwords on the different... No, it seems the passwords are the same across the different results. Yeah, Andy Frankie, 1909-25. It brings you joy to share... There's a side to you that's deep as the ocean blue. It brings you joy to share it with your friends, watching their eyes widen and their faces turn the color of your hair down in the peace beneath the waves. The dark undertones and overtones and just tones. Let's see, can I... Let me... What else can I click on? Okay, I think we found all the clickables on the site. Just the animation notes on these character bits. I'm excited. I wanna see that play out. I wanna see that. I wanna see the character animation. I wanna see it. I wanna see it. I wanna see it. Someone put thought into it. Someone thought very carefully about how a person's interiority expresses in their physical movement. I wanna see it. I want to see it. I wanna see it. Oh, I wanna see that. If it's at that level of quality, I wanna see it. God fucking damn it, Glitch Studios. I used to have a life outside of this. You can't do this to me. You cannot be fucking running Digital Circus and you're also in full production on Gaslight District. Now you're about to do this. You can't do this to me. You motherfuckers. I also have to play Silk Song now, soon. Oh, kill me with a gun and a knife. Yeah, this is gonna be good. Holy shit. Oh, right, YouTube. Become a member for early access, like, comment, subscribe, other things. Do those or don't do them. It's like, you know what? Don't give me money. Send more money to Glitch so they can keep funding this shit.